صحيح أبو باشا Mirashai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Jewish rule well. Shalom to the elect. This story is quite old, but it talks about the Uyghurs. I don't know the correct pronunciation, but have been systematically raped, sexually abused, and tortured, according to detailed new accounts obtained by the BBC. The man always wore masks. To Anasi, Zawadan said, even though there was no pandemic then, they wore suits, she said, not police uniforms. Sometime after midnight, they came to the cells to select the woman they wanted and took them down the corridor to a black room where there were no surveillance cameras. And this is talking about, this group of people who are living in China. Several nights at Zawawudan said they took her. Perhaps this is the most unforgettable scar on me forever, she said. I don't even want these words to spill from my mouth. She spent 9 months inside China's vast and secretive system of internment camps in the Xinjiang region. According to the independent estimates, more than 1 million men and women have been detained in the sprawling networks of camps which China says exist for re-education of the Uyghurs and other minorities. Human rights groups say the China government has gradually stripped away the religious and other freedoms of the Uyghurs, culminating in an oppressive system of mass surveillance, detention, indoctrination, and even forced sterilization. Hey, Moab is moving mad. Moab is moving worse than Edom, which is why a lot of people think that he's going to be next to rule, but these people are not going to be next to rule, man. These people are the bases of the earth along with Edom. The policy flows from China's President Xi Jinping, who visited Xinjiang in 2014 in the wake of a terror attack by Uyghur separatists. Shortly after, according to the documents leaked to the New York Times, he directed local officials to respond with absolutely no mercy. The US government said last month that China's actions since amounted to a genocide. China says reports of mass detention and forced sterilization are lies and absurd allegations. And these are the same people that will black out the news media. Like, I was reading somewhere, the people, like, when an event is going on the TV, their TV is blacked out. And then once the event is over, then they go back to their regular scheduled programming. First-hand accounts from inside the internment camps are rare, but several former detainees and the guard have told BBC they experienced or saw evidence of an organized system of mass rape, sexual abuse, and torture. Taserne Zawawudan, who fled Xinjiang after her release, is now in the US, said women were removed from the cells every night and raped by one or more masked Chinese men. She said she was tortured and later gang raped on 3 occasions, each time by 2 or 3 men. That's just disgusting, man. Zawawudan then has spoken to the media before, but only from Kazakhstan, where she lived in constant fear of being sent back to China. She said she believed that if she revealed the extent of the sexual abuse she had experienced and seen and was returned to Xinjiang, she would be punished more harshly than before, and she was ashamed. Now, it's a shame for that to happen to a woman. Let's play this little article.
Has denied the allegations and accused the BBC of making a false report. Matthew Hill has spoken to several former detainees for his report, and you may find some of their accounts distressing.
Oh, is that woman?
Tazanai Zawawudan is reliving a story she can barely bring herself to tell. She was held at one of Xinjiang's so-called re-education camps. These satellite images show the site where Tazanai says she was held, sharing a cell with 13 other women. She's haunted by one image: masked men coming down a camp corridor like this one after midnight.
They were 3 men. Not 1, but 3. They did whatever evil their mind could think of, and they didn't spare any part of my body, biting it to the extent that it was disgusting to look at. They didn't just rape, they were barbaric. They had bitten all over my body.
The US have granted her safe refuge after investigating her claims. She's waived her right to anonymity and now feels free to speak out about the full extent of the abuse she says she suffered.
They had an electric baton. I didn't know what it was. It was pushed into my private parts and I was tormented with electric shocks.
It's estimated over 1 million Uyghurs and other Muslims are held in the camps. These never-before-broadcast pictures were filmed secretly in a camp under construction and published by a magazine on religious liberty. Many former camp inmates flee to Istanbul. Some talk of being forced to choose between punishment or complicity in these crimes.
Han Chinese men would pay money to have their pick of the pretty young inmates. My job is to remove their clothes and then handcuff them on their beds so they cannot move.
The testimony of the women we've interviewed has sparked international condemnation. The US State Department said the atrocities they describe shock the conscience. And tonight, President Biden has revealed human rights in...
Now, don't get it twisted. The US does the same thing, but they way more covert with it. Like, compared to them China people, they're downright humane, because them people are worse than dogs, man.
China will be a priority for his administration. Here too, in Parliament today, the treatment of the women was condemned by the Foreign Office.
The evidence of the scale and the severity of these violations is now far-reaching. It paints a truly harrowing picture. If China wishes to dispute this evidence, then it must allow unfettered access to the region for the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights or another independent fact-finding body.
China has responded to our investigation, insisting its camps are vocational training centres designed to stop Muslims living in the region from turning to extremism. It accuses the BBC of lies and misinformation.
There is no so-called systemic sexual assault and abuse against women. China is a country ruled by law. Our constitution guarantees and protects human rights, and it is embodied in our legal system and the government's work.
These women have spoken out about rape, which in their culture is an unspoken crime, because they want their stories heard. It seems much of the world is listening. Matthew Hill, BBC News.
Yo, and it's not just the men that they were doing it to. This man here, I'm gonna read a bit of this. They told me to bend over. I begged them to stop. I forgot that. Uyghur reveals Chinese guards regularly had inmates gang rape one another as ex-cop describes beating children as young as 14 at detention centers. A former inmate of Uyghur detention camp has revealed how he was ordered to bend over by prison guards so that other detainees could gang rape him. The whistleblower gave his own account to CNN, who also interviewed an ex-cop who described how he would beat children as young as 14 and that he regularly witnessed both men and women being battered by guards. Torture methods include chaining inmates to metal chairs, hanging them from the ceiling, sexual violence, electrocutions, and waterboarding. The testimonies raised new concerns over Beijing's treatment of the Uyghur Muslims minority at so-called re-education camps in the northern Xinjiang province. Sanctions imposed by London, Washington, and Brussels appear to have failed to stop the Chinese Communist Party from committing a genocide. Abduweli Ayub, a 48-year-old Uruguayan scholar, said he was detained in August 2013 by armed police after he opened a nursery to teach children their native language. On his first night at a detention camp in the city of Kashgar, he said he was raped by a dozen Chinese inmates who were forced to do so by prison guards. This is completely barbaric, and these people, they don't want you to retain any self of self or your tribe or where you come from when you go to their country. It's like you're supposed to basically assimilate with them or die. You know what I mean? That's the mindset that they have. And this is Psalm 68. Moab is my washpot, over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Philistia, triumph thou because of me. Okay, it shows what's a washpot. Let's see what a washpot is, man. But these people are absolutely filthy. I don't know how you can treat human beings like that, man. This is just disgusting. A pot for washing, such as a large metal pot used for outdoor boiling clothes. So it's just basically an unclean vessel. And them people there are unclean, man. I don't know how you can treat people like that. That's Ezekiel 7:23. And this is about, where Jerusalem was being taken, but it's relevant to this. Make a chain, and for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. Because I don't understand how people can look at that like it's a society, and they talk about human rights, but these people, they can't even report on what goes on in there. You get sanctioned by the government. I read somewhere that the government was paying people $100 a day equivalent to go and beat protesters. Now this is not reported on a world scale, because a lot of them have a media lockdown, and that actually contradicts quote unquote human rights and your rights to speech. So these people don't have no rights over there, man. Acts 17:26, and have made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and have determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation. See, this place is done. These people think like, raw, China's gonna be the new superpower, and it's not. The Lord's gonna come, and after everything happens, Jerusalem and Israel is just gonna slide right in there. Because both these people are barbaric, man. These people can't be ruling the earth. Them same Chinese people that are over in Ghana, doing the same thing to the women, having children with them, and then leaving them there, taking over the land, completely destroying it. Like you thought Edom was bad. Moab is even worse. They don't have no mercy, man. This is Second Thessalonians 1:6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with Yahweh to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. Now, this is troubling for anyone who's trying to live righteous. This is troubling. You're gonna read this stuff. You're gonna hear women being raped, men being gang raped. Like what? I don't. That's just it. What's going on in the world right now is just absolutely disgusting. And a lot of the time, because people live in their own bubble and relative safety, as opposed to what's going on in the rest of the world, they think that this place is normal. Like it's. You know what I mean? Like it's run by law, and the same thing is happening, in the UK, in America. They're just way more covert about it. China's just blatant with it because they don't care. At the end of the day, who's gonna report on it? You know what I mean? This woman has to literally leave the country before she could report on it. If she done that while she was over there, she probably wouldn't have even made it out the country. But yeah, like this whole world is just in a complete shambles, man. These people are barbarians, they're heathens, they're animals, they're base beasts, and none of them should be in charge from China. Friggin' Edom, Elam, all these people they're animals, man. Bunch of goat fuckers. You know what I mean? Like friggin' worshipping people with 8 hands. All of this, bro. They worship cows and stuff, bro. These people are bugged out, man. Shabbat Shalom is a new moon today. All praises to the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of James who rule well. Shalom to the elect.